to do an introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rusty, and my guest on the Wrestling View second episode. The recap of the show. First episode, I had Dane. Now, today, I have Cal. And the first question I have for you, Cal, is your thoughts on the evolution of eFeds, like how it started off as forms and became what it is today.
Well, it started out as a lot more fun. It was there was no real pressure in it. Now it seems with everybody wanted to do it. It's a lot more pressure. Like if you have a match and you have to cook for it, then you're kind of shoehorned into doing as much as possible. Whereas before, it used to simply be just do what you can do, and just if you can't do something, or then you just leave it. But now it's a lot more pressured. A lot more people moan and bitch constantly and fight over stuff, and so it's just. I'd say it's changed for the worse, personally, but that's just my opinion. Some people enjoy the more bitchy side of things, but I'm not one of them.
All right, on to the next question. What is your thoughts on the future of eFeds? Like, how would things go? Like, maybe for the next 10 years, 20 years, like the future. Will it die down or will it evolve into something else?
I'm not sure, really, to be honest. I think it's difficult to say because if people keep bitching and incessantly moaning like they have been doing recently, then it's gonna die pretty quick. But I'd say if people learn to chill out and listen to guys who have been doing it for a while, take the time, then it shouldn't really be a problem. But obviously, it depends how people are going to play it. If they keep acting like children, it's just going to get worse.
All right. Here's a question I got submitted to me. What is your thoughts on Tyler Williams?
Tyler, a lot of people actually think I really dislike Tyler. I actually don't. I quite like him. As he likes to point out, he kind of got me into it. We've had a lot of disputes because it got to a point where he was running AWC and he was like untouchable and nobody would say anything to him, and I was never oh, sorry, this was OWF, not AWC, and I was just like I wouldn't put up with his shit, so I was just like calling him out and stuff, and a lot of people got the kind of idea that I didn't like him and he didn't like me, which was true, but there's kind of a lot of mutual respect there. We don't like each other, but we don't really have to like each other, if that makes sense. But yeah, he's a good guy. He knows what he's doing. He's not exactly stupid. Yeah, I've got no problem with him as a person. When it comes to actually working together, it's a little bit more strained. But he's not a bad guy. He's manageable in small doses.
All right. Let's move on to the next question. All right. Ever since AJ Styles has debuted in WWE, all of a sudden everybody on the planet Earth is now an AJ Styles fan. What is your thoughts on the AJ Styles bandwagon?
I can't really. It's gonna sound like I've just jumped on the bandwagon myself. I've always been a pretty big fan of AJ Styles. Not a huge fan. In terms of, I'm not gonna go out and spend money on his merch. But I think he's very, very talented. I like him personally. I liked him more when he was in New Japan and Ring of Honor, and when he had places where he had a little bit more control over himself. So on WWE, for example, he's not going to be able to say certain things. He's not going to be able to do certain things. But I think everybody's kind of jumped on it because there's a lot of people who never watch anything other than WWE. So when they jumped on it, they were like, they jumped on it not because everybody else jumped on it, but simply because that this is like their first time seeing him actually perform, which you can't really blame them for. But for the people who have literally just jumped on it because it's become popular and he's a popular guy now, then fuck those guys.
The next question I have: what makes AWC'S so special in terms of what it is and stuff like that?
Honestly, because the thing that I personally like about it is it combines two things that I personally enjoy in terms of creative writing and then, of course, wrestling. So that's what I like, but you can get that in any kind of any format. If you like something, then there's somebody is writing the thing that you like. If you like anime, then you can write anime. And I think the whole idea of e-editing is that it gives you the chance to combine something with creative writing that you wouldn't normally associate with any kind of literacy. So you've got wrestling, which isn't really an academic subject in terms of maths, English, that sort of thing. But then you've got creative writing. I think that works quite well as a relative pair, and I think it works.
All right. Next question: what do you prefer in promos, quality or quantity?
Oh, quality. But obviously, if you give me a promo that's maybe 300 words long, and the quality is say an 8 out of 10, but if God gives me a promo that's 1,000 words long and the quality is 6 out of 10, I'm gonna pick the 1,000 words, not because there's more of it, but because if you don't have enough quality, then like if you give me 300 words of an A grade promo and you give me 1,000 words of a B grade promo, there's still more quality in the B grade promo because, yeah, the things they've said in the A grade promo is better in the shorter promo. But there's more of it in the B grade. But obviously, if I had to choose between writing a promo that was good or writing a promo that was long and terrible, I'd go for the promo that was good. But if it's close, then obviously quantity factor. But if it's too long, I think that bores people and people tend not to read it. I personally read all of the ones that people ask me to simply because I like to get feedback on my own. So I don't expect to get that if I'm not going to give people feedback. So I read them no matter the quantity or quality. If somebody asks me to read them, I'll read them. But personally, I would prefer. Well, if really, honestly, I'd prefer a really long promo that's really good, but I'd say quality is more important.
All right. What do you think about people incorporating tweets into AWC'S?
I think it's good as long as you don't do it all the time. There's some people who I see are just doing that and nothing else, and I think it's stupid. Like, if you're gonna do it, but don't do it all the time because it doesn't really make sense in a way. It's good, but a lot of people don't. I think if you're gonna do it, it needs to be realistic. So you'll see people type out like huge, like 300, 400 word promos off a tweet, and you're just like, well, you only get 140 characters in a tweet. So if you're gonna do it right. It's got to be something short, sweet, to the point, to start back and forth, not a full promo just because you put a Twitter handle in front of it.
Yeah, there's some people that usually makes their tweets count for their promo, and I noticed Douglas was like he's not going to go with that, not make it count, or it would be counted against them.
It can
So I
count.
think that's a good move on his part.
I would count it, but it wouldn't get many marks. It doesn't matter how good your tweet is. If somebody cuts a promo and you cut a tweet as your reply, the promo is going to win because they've actually put time and effort into it.
Sure. Let's see. Next question. Who are your favorite people in BTW? Like favorite gimmicks there and characters?
Gimmicks. Are you talking like favorite gimmicks or favorite like people like on a personal level?
I mean, like say Prince Rusty, like characters that way.
Oh, characters. Okay. I don't really watch. I don't read the New Rising that much. I'll probably get shouted at for that. I don't really read Levolution. I only really read Devastation. That's what I'm on. But if I had to pick, I would say General Spike is definitely up there. Zach Murphy's up there. DC Zamcham, Taka, Jason Silva. I originally, there's a funny story that I originally hated that guy with a passion because just when I was coming up, I just got to BTW and he was like the top guy in New Rising. He was just about getting to the top guy in New Rising. I got called straight up to the main roster just when I found out that I was going to be doing a program with him. So I was pissed and everybody was saying, oh, how good he is. And obviously I got a little bit of professional jealousy and I got pissed. And I was like, fuck this guy, fuck everything he's done, he's shit, he's terrible. But then I actually started reading his promos. I was like, shit, I fucking love this character. This guy's awesome. And now I'd say he's on there definitely. DJK obviously is always on there. I always love Zach's work as Dez. I don't really like him much as Steve Crow, but I love him as Dez.
Yeah.
And I'd say other than that, I'd have to go for guys like Jade. As Jason Masterson, he's very, very good. I enjoy his work. And Anarchist. I always love a good Anarchist promo, and I love Anarchist because he's the only guy with more than one gimmick character that I like to read all of his work. It's not just one character. Like Zach does Dez, and I love it, but he does like Steve Crow, and I can't stand it. But Anarchist does like Anarchist, and then he does his Japanese guy, and then he does Stone Cold Austin Stevens. Oh, Cold Stone Austin Stevens, and I love all of them. So I'd say Anarchist is personally my favourite simply because he's got three gimmicks that I just love.
Basically, I'm asking you the same question, but within AWC.
AWC, obviously it's going to be the same guys from BTW that are there. Guys like Zach and DC and DJK, and Taka and Jin. Never really worked with Jin in BTW, so Jin would qualify for AWC. I quite like yours because it changes every like month. Like I like that. I like Todd as long as he's not cutting video promos.
I kind of agree with you on that one.
Todd is the thing about Todd is I like the guy, but his voice, like he write a really good written promo, and it'll be like, oh, boom, boom, boom in your face, and I love it. But then he'll cut a video promo, and his voice is really high pitched, so it doesn't live up to the written promo. And he's so good at the written promos compared to where he started, that I kind of don't ever want him to cut video promo. I just want him to do writtens. So Todd had built there. And Tyler. Now, not a lot of people think this, but Tyler's actually probably got the best gimmick in AWC because nobody realizes really that he's an asshole, but the way that he turns it completely around in his gimmick and makes it a completely different type of arsehole is just, I love, and he's probably going to get a massive ego now because I've said this. Hi, Tyler. But yeah, I'd say Tyler's probably my favourite in AWC, as much as I hate having to say that.
Well, another question I got. Who are some E-Fetters you looked up to?
I don't think there is anyone really. By the time, like, now don't forget, I was. I don't think there was anyone really. There's a lot. I can't really answer that because I didn't really look up to anyone, simply because I'm cocky and arrogant, and when I got in, I thought I was already the best. I'd say there's a lot of people who I've looked at and taken bits from and took inspiration from. Guys like DJK and Zach and Ari and not Ari's Arizona, Curtis, and a surprising one, Connor Brakefield. When he came to ELW, joined Genesis, I used to love reading his shit simply because I used to take little bits from it. But Connor, interestingly enough, told me that I would never ever get out of development in BTW, and I was only in development for like I think 2 hours. I think I was there for 2 hours before I got called up. So fuck you, Connor. You were wrong.
Well, another question. EOW, what basically killed it the first go around?
Me.
Wow, that's short of an answer.
Me. Basically, for anybody who'd followed it, I was unbeaten for like a year, however long, whatever. And basically, we ran a storyline where I got attacked in a promo. And I, like, in the storyline, I threw my toys out the prom and left the group. Said I don't want anything to do with it, blah, blah, blah. Because basically they were saying, oh, you've been on the top, blah, blah, world champion, blah, blah, blah. We need to let somebody else have a go. And I was like, well, I'm not going to lose. You know what I mean? I was a lot better than everyone else. So I was like, I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to throw a match. So basically, we came up with this storyline where I left. And they had a tournament to crown a new champion. And the idea was they would crown the new champion. I would come back and we'd go at it to unify the belts. That was the plan. But when I left, everybody went fucking crazy because we didn't tell anybody that it was a work. So I just left. I left the group. I left the group chats. Everything. I just left. So I didn't have any contact. I didn't know what was happening, and nobody told me. And the whole thing died while I was away. So everybody started leaving because they thought I'd actually left. And then I came back when I came back the day I was supposed to be making like a comeback. And I got a message off Alex saying, "Oh, you're in charge. You've got this. You've got that. You've got all this stuff, and you're gonna run things." And I was like, "Oh shit, what the fuck happened?" And it had died because a lot of people had left when I left, thinking that I'd actually left. So I take full credit for killing ALW. Although there is probably some that would disagree, but I personally think that's what it was. Oh, and John Anderson being an arsehole. As much as I love John, he's an arsehole.
All right. Another question is: every good thing comes to an end. That even goes for E-Fed. Like, there's so long people can E-Fed. Do you ever see yourself retiring anytime soon?
I don't, not really. I mean, I can see myself giving up completely. I could see myself maybe taking a break because when you're doing it at the top level against the best creative writers, then you're going to be you're going to run out of ideas quick. Because whereas I would only have to use, say, one decent idea for a promo to run, and I'd run off that. But against the guys that I'm against, I'm having to use 3 or 4, and you run out of ideas, so you have to take a break, take a couple of weeks or a month, and just kind of sit back and think about things. But I can't see myself retiring personally, not yet. Maybe quite a few years down the line, yeah, but not quite yet.
Okay, I want to hear your opinion on the personal beef between Tyler and Josh Steinberg.
I actually know anything about it. I don't think it's personal, but honestly, and they'll probably shoot me for telling you this, I think it's a work. It is a work fact because Tyler's promoting this whole ACW thing. It's a work. They did have personal beef, I believe. Both of them are control freaks. I think Josh has grew up and he wants to be in charge, and Tyler obviously always wants to be in charge. So I think there was personal beef like real, but I don't think there is now. I don't think that's a thing, and I don't think it's real. I think it's a work now. But yeah, no, it's definitely not real.
Well, as you know, the Big Five: AWC, DC, Jin, Curtis, DJK. All right, you entered like the 5 main eventers ever. Douglas is gone. You and Curtis are part time. Jin is currently the only one active out of the Big Five. Who do you see being the next Big Five out of the ACW AWC roster if it went back into being one roster?
I think if me and Curtis kind of decide to come back properly, I think we'll be in the top 5 again, obviously. But I'd say without us, Alejandro, Jin, obviously, Jin, Adam, Velaz. Is Rainey? Rainey's in AWC, is he not?
I don't know for sure. I think he's in ACW, but
but he's in one
else.
of them. I'd say Rainey. As much as there seems to be some kind of beef between us, he's actually very, very good. And I think that the 5th spot could be anyone, from you to whoever to Todd to who, it all depends because of the way AWC and ACW work. It all depends who Josh and Tyler give a break to. I think it's really just whoever shows them that they deserve it more. If you just settle on a gimmick, you'd be vastly improved. So yeah, I could only really name 4: Jin, Rainey, Adam, and Alejandro. As much as Adam likes to get his statistics mixed up, I think him.
Another thing I like to mention is what was your thoughts on the introduction of V-Feds? Does it
Honestly,
kill promo?
I thought it was stupid.
What?
I thought it was a terrible idea, but simply because there was nothing. The fact that I was never really that active in AWC, and I was like a 7-time champion. I think that's what made it a bit unrealistic. That's what pissed people off, because there were guys who were promoing every week that never won anything because of the way it works. It doesn't work on who does best wins, sort of thing. Now,
I understand on that. I mean, like Junior Rice, he would like cut like a sentence and call it a promo, and I would like have a paragraph, and somehow he beat me, and everybody called bullcrap on that when that happened.
yeah, it was simply it's just because of the way it works. It's random. If there was some kind of way of, like, if Tyler had the time to sit there and redo every match until he got the outcome of what he wanted, then it would work. If you cut one line against me and I cut a fucking full promo against you, that mine was better than yours, then I would expect to win. But if he would obviously pick the winner and then sit there and keep redoing the match until the guy who should win wins. But that being said, Tyler, he's got a life of his own. You can't really expect him to do that. I am starting to come around it. I like the idea of actually being able to watch the matches. That's a good idea, but obviously it needs some fine tuning.
Now I love how he fixed that problem. How if the better now that promos do count, because when it's a match for the better promo, it's a written match. But if it's booked to win or AI versus AI, it's the 2K16. So I like how that concept works now.
I don't, simply because I think if you're gonna do oh, sorry, hold on. If you're gonna do a VFed, then you've got to do it completely. So I think that you should just keep the whole thing V, and then just work off that and just keep redoing it until you get the one that you want, as opposed to writing it. I think that works better. But
Yeah.
at least he's doing something to kind of fix it.
Alright. Okay, after season 1 ended, here is the current season, AWC 2K16. How do you oppose AWC 2K16 to AWC 2K15? Which one was the better? Which one had the better set of matches, or is it too early to tell?
I would say so far, 2K15, simply because of the star power in a way. Like, I know people like to say, oh, like you said earlier with the top 5, but the top, when it first started, it was me, Zach, DJs, and Curtis. We were like the top. And I think it worked so well because coming in, we already had 4 guys who were established enough to instantly be at the top, sort of thing. And I think that gave it a lot more hype. But going into 16, you guys, this isn't knocking any of the current talent, but you didn't really have you had you had people liked, but they weren't, like, you couldn't look at those and say realistically that you could put them against anyone and they would stand a chance. Like, you could put me, Curtis, DJK, Zach against anybody in the world, and we'd at least hold our own, sort of thing. But you can't really say that about any of the guys going into 2K16. But it has been entertaining. I've actually watched quite a bit of it. I've followed it a little, as much as I can, and it's actually surprised me because I thought 2K16 was going to be terrible. It's actually gone well, but I wouldn't say it was as good as 2K15. Not so far.
To think how the hashtag push Rusty, I believe you started that.
I did.
If you go with that, you would have to say I was the most over guy during that era, like during season 1, you sort of say, because of that.
Yeah, I would, but it was because. Let me give a little bit of background. Basically, it was actually coming off one of your matches. I think it was actually with Junior Royce, and you'd actually look. I think you'll be the first to admit, back then you were fucking terrible.
I was.
But basically, this was like we used to watch the promos, and some of the top guys would talk about it as like a group sort of thing. And yours, I remember exactly what happened. Actually, we were in a group chat. I can't remember who was in it, and I got a message, and it was like, "Fuck," and I was like, "Whoa, what's up?" And they were like, "Go and look at Rusty's promo." So we went and watched it, and it was like decent. It was good, and we were like, "Fuck!" Like, okay, this is gone all right. Like, and then you lost to Junior Royce, who was shit. Like, he cut shit, and um, we were like, well, you can't really fuck a guy like that, because we were like maybe Rusty's actually turned a corner and he's going to be cutting decent promos from now on. And then obviously you got screwed out of a match with Junior Royce, and we were like, well, fuck, you've got to push Rusty. So then that's how that started. We were like, hashtag push Rusty. And that actually carried on because you cut like 3 decent promos again after that, and we were just keeping it going because it was pissing Tyler off. And we were like, yeah, fuck it, it's got to be, we're gonna do it because we want to actually see somebody who's look Chambers, for example, Trayvon. We did this for him because he was cutting decent promos compared to everyone else. So we were like, fuck, he needs a shot. And then we were doing it for you, and Tyler didn't want to follow it, so you were over because we were like, because you put yourself there in a way. You were like, you were popular because you'd come out of nowhere in a way. You'd started cutting decent, and we were like, well, fuck, where's this come from? So you were over because, simply because it was a surprise to us, and that's I'd say that's why you were over. And the hashtag push Rusty thing became like fucking viral.
Here's something else you would have to hear about. Originally, I was supposed to challenge for the world title before season 1 ended. Don't know what happened to that. So, what would have been your thoughts on? I think the final world champion of season 1 was DJK, right? So, what would have been your thoughts on a DJK versus Rusty for the world title?
I reckon that would have been quite interesting to see what because DJK is vicious. Like, he's literally, out of all the people I've feuded with and had matches with, DJK is the guy who pushes me constantly. Like, every time, like, I know him quite well now, but every time I go into a feud with him, I'm like, but I've got his measure. I know what he's all about. I know what he's gonna say, and then he'll go completely the other way and just throw me off guard. Um, so to see how you dealt with that, I think would have been really interesting, because there's no doubt DJK would have cut promos that you probably couldn't answer, but to see you try and to see how you did it would have been very, very interesting to me personally. I would have liked to have seen it, but you know, whether anybody else, I know DJK as well as probably anybody, so I know exactly what he'd do in that situation, or at least I think I do. And I think the most interesting idea about Rusty versus DJK is seeing how you'd handle it personally. So I would have personally liked to have seen it, but yeah, it
Yeah.
didn't come off. So
And the fact that the match didn't happen, another match that was originally planned was me versus you.
I didn't
That
know
was
about that.
something I was actually looking forward to.
I didn't know about that.
You didn't know about me supposed to take on you?
No. I was literally just told. Was this for the strap?
No, this was supposed to be like a dream match, some sort of deal,
Oh,
or like
I didn't know about that.
similar to
They
the
never.
Kurt Angle retirement tour today.
Oh, was that
Like
the WrestleMania one?
what?
Was that the WrestleMania one? Was it meant to be at WrestleMania?
I think it was meant to be at Kingdom, but apparently I was sidelined with an injury. Injury, supposed to say.
Then
It's supposed to be on the final show of season 1.
I have absolutely no idea. I
Or it was
didn't.
supposed to be on a random Brawl episode. I don't know.
I think the only match I ever actually got told about was me versus Curtis at WrestleMania. I don't think I was told about any other match, to be honest, in advance. So I don't really know. I think it would have been fun. But look, I didn't really know about the plan. I don't know why it didn't happen. But Tyler tends not to tell me stuff.
Out of the main established people, I've only faced one, and that was BWB Arizona. But surprisingly, I think in season 1, I had an upset victory over Jen, and everybody went ape shit over it because they couldn't believe it.
Jin, oh yeah, I actually remember that. Jin was pissed about that too. Jin was like major pissed.
That he lost to me?
Yeah, he was like angry. But
my reaction, I was shocked. I thought I was going to job out to Jen.
to be honest, it happens, you know what I mean? But you didn't run with it. That was the problem. You should have grabbed the bull by the horns and spent the next fucking 6 months talking about how you beat Jin. In fact, that's what you should do now. You should start cutting promos saying, well, hold on, do you remember when I beat Jim? You know what I mean? Jin's not that good. That's what I'd be doing if I was you. Jin's very, very good, by the way, but that's what I would be saying if I was you at this point. I'd be running off that.
I actually tried that to see to reignite a feud between me and Jen, but Tyler wouldn't allow it.
Just keep going. Just keep going and keep going and keep doing it. Eventually, Tyler's going to have to let you do it simply because Tyler realizes now, I think,
I'm
after
actually
meeting.
in Josh's company, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Well, you do it with Josh then?
Yeah, I joined ACW. I don't know if you've been following.
No, that actually nobody asked me to join one. I was surprised. It's a call. You can both try and recruit me.
Here's one question I'm wondering. I'm asking you now, are you going to stay in AWC or are you going to have a trial run with ACW?
What's the difference? I don't really know the difference.
Josh books the matches for ACW, Tyler books for AWC.
It didn't really make much difference. I used to book for myself.
Really? You booked some of your own matches
Well,
in the AWC group?
it was basically Tyler used to say, "Oh, I want to do this," and I'd be like, "I prefer this," and I'd just incessantly bitch at Tyler until he eventually either agreed to let me do what I wanted or agreed to let me change what he wanted, so I was happy with it.
Because you're on
But
his
yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe if somebody tells Josh he can recruit me, then he'll give it a go, and I might have a trial run, make my comeback.
I have a feeling as soon as this episode hits All Wrestling Community, the group, and the BTW Lounge, I think Tyler's going to have an uncomfortable experience watching this after all we've been talking about.
Because Tyler as well, Tyler will fucking hate it if I start working with Josh. But Tyler is way too proud to come to me and ask me to work for him. And that's what's going to piss him off because he's stuck either way. If he doesn't come to me and ask me, then I'll work for Josh. If Josh asks me, but Tyler doesn't want to swallow his pride and ask me, I think Tyler would prefer I just stay out of it, to be honest.
Well, honestly, here's what I don't understand. Brandon Andrews' character and the Chris Chambers character are technically competing for both because they were just representing AWC, but yet they have a match against each other on ACW. So that's how I'm making me think Tyler has some say in ACW because of that match alone.
Tyler's definitely got a say in it. Speaking outside of gimmicks and storylines, Tyler's definitely got a say in it. If not the major say, I would be surprised if Josh is literally just playing a character and Tyler's actually booking the whole thing as a storyline. That's what I think personally is happening, but like I said, it's not really my place to say.
Here's another problem. How does a written promo beat a video promo? And how does a video promo beat the written one?
I think video promos you can put more emotion into it and a visual aid, but a written but you get people when they do video promos, they tend to say, like, they'll say something and they'll say all they've got to think about, and then they'll get and I'm gonna show up to blah blah on Monday, and they stumble because they forget and they panic. Whereas a written promo, you can't. The quality tends to be a lot better because you can think about what you put in and then put it, and if you don't like it, you can go back and change it and chop and change and cut and add and do whatever it is you need to do to make it something you're happy with. Whereas a video promo is like one and done. I mean, you can re-record, but I find when re-recording video promos, you end up like doing it worse every single time.
That's why when I do my video promos, I usually do a written promo and use it as a script.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I've personally never used scripts simply because I'm quite good at just like talking off the top of my head. But I don't tend to cut video promos all that much, to be honest. I just tend to do writtens because I personally like that. In a written promo, I can be anywhere I want, anywhere in the whole world, doing whatever it is I want to do. With a video promo, I'm literally restricted by what the camera can see. So, like, if I want to be in Japan in a promo, I can write it, or I can get on a plane and actually go to Japan and film it. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier to do writtens. It's harder. It takes more talent to write, but it's a lot easier to pull off what you want to pull off with a written than it is with a video.
Well, I guess I've reached my limit, and thanks for being here, and
No
it was
problem.
a pleasure of having you on the show, and I guess this is it for now.
Awesome.